Good morning, my friends. We are going to be learning today the third chapter in Rambam. It's already our third day that we're studying the actual laws of learning the mitzvot of the Torah. In today's chapter, we're going to be learning the greatness of God. As we have been learning for the last 2 days, the Rambam tells us that through contemplating and through thinking about and meditating in the greatness and the vastness of God and in His creations, we can come to love Him and to fear Him much better. So today we're going to be learning about the solar system, all about the various major creations. When we're talking about the sun and the moon and the planets and so on and so forth, we're going to be learning exactly how those work. Very interesting in the Rambam. He explains us exactly how the entire solar system works, and through this, as we're going to see, is we're going to be able to come to have a greater love for God when we see the awesomeness of what He has done and what He has created. So let's get right into it. Here we go. The spheres. Today we're learning chapter 3 of the laws of the foundation of the Torah. The spheres are called the heavens, the firmament, the habitation, the skies. There are 9 spheres. The closest sphere is the sphere of the moon. So that's the one that is closest to us. The second one is the sphere that contains the planet called Kochav, which would be Mercury. The third one is above it is a planet called Noga, which is Mars. The fourth sphere contains the sun. The fifth one, Noga is not Mars. Noga is Venus. The fifth one has Ma'adim, which that is Mars. The sixth sphere contains Tzedek, which would be Jupiter. And the seventh contains Shabtai, which would be Saturn. And the eighth sphere contains all the stars which are seen in the sky. And the ninth sphere is a sphere which revolves each day from the east to the west. It surrounds and encompasses everything. So here the Rambam literally gives us a very basic understanding of how the galaxy works. And even though that the Rambam continues to say that even though if you look into the sky, it seems that all the planets are all on one level, but the truth is that there are obviously many levels and spheres, so to speak. There are levels going further and further away, but because the planets are clear and they are refined like glass or sapphire, so therefore the stars would seem either on the same level, or it can even seem that something which is further away would look closer to us. Now, each one of these spheres, each one of these levels, contains many different parts within it, many different spheres within it. And it's like an onion, he says. So if you have the inner level, and then you have out and out and out, and so on and so forth. And some of these levels, some of these spheres, they turn from east to west, and some turn the other way around. For instance, the 9th sphere goes from east to west, but other ones go from west to east. None of these spheres are light, nor are they heavy. They are neither red, black, or any other color. And even though they look like they might have a certain color, it is all because how far they are. That's however far they are from here. So therefore, it's going to give us an illusion of a color which they are. But in truth, they don't really have any color to them. Similarly, they do not have any taste nor smell, because all of that is only in creations lower than the planets. Alright, continuing on, he says that all of these planets, all these spheres, are round like a ball, and the earth is suspended in their midst. Some of these planets have other smaller planets that are surrounding around them. And he says that the total number of spheres that there are that surround the earth are 18. And there are so there are 18 in total. And from now, he continues to say, from the movement of the planets and the knowledge of the extent of their revolution each day and each moment, their position either northward or southward, and their distance above the earth and the closeness to it. So now we can know the amount of how many spheres there are, and we can understand the manner in which they proceed, the nature of their orbit. And he says that we find that there are many books written on these subjects by the wise men of Greece. Now, he continues to say that the ninth sphere, which encompasses all the others, was divided by the sages into 12 sections. So we find that there are 12 sections in the ninth sphere, and according to how the stars below it, in all the other 8, are formed, so then it makes a certain picture, and you get a certain form that will be created, and these are called the mazalot, or the zodiac system. And there are various, we have various pictures that are depicted, so to speak. We have the lamb, the ox, the twins, the crab, the lion, the virgin, the scales, the scorpion, the bow, the goat, the bucket, and the fish. But he says that the ninth sphere itself does not have any division, nor does it possess any of these shapes or any stars. It doesn't really have any of this. It's all because whatever you see from below is going to look in this shape. And he says that a very interesting thing is that at the time of the flood, so because of what was taking place during the flood, so all the entire system got a little bit out of place, and things that's why it looks like this. But he says that today these all the stars and all the various planets have moved a little bit, and he says that it takes about 70 years for one of these planets or one of these stars out there to move. It will take 70 years for one of the farthest stars to move as much as the sun moves in one day. And he gives us a little bit of a proportion to understand the size of these planets. So he says that the Earth is 40 times larger than the moon. The sun is 170 times larger than the world. And therefore, the sun is really 6,800 times bigger than the moon. Which is interesting. All the stars, all of these planets, they're all creations by God. And they all possess a soul, knowledge, and intellect. They are alive, and they stand in recognition of the one who spoke and thus brought the world into being. They praise God. They understand. They comprehend that they were created by God. According to their size and level, each one praises and glorifies their Creator, just as the angels do. And just as they are aware of God, they're also aware of themselves and the angels which surpass them. And he says that the knowledge of the stars is less than the knowledge of the angels, but it is more than the knowledge of a human. So actually, the various planets are smarter than human beings in their recognition of God. And then he continues to say that we have, in the entity of the world, we have God created 4 different forms. So we have the idea of the form of fire, of wind, of water, and earth. And each one of these creates various elements, and all of these bodies do not possess a soul, nor are they conscious of their being, or they don't know anything. Rather, they are like dead bodies. Each one has its inclinations. However, it is not conscious or knowledgeable of its inclinations, and it cannot change them. And when King David in Psalms says that may the fire and hail, snow and vapor all let it praise God, so that might seem that fire can praise God. It maybe has an understanding for God. But he says that in the truth that's not so, but rather that a human should praise God for the fire, because of the fire, so to speak, and because of the hail. And with that, we can now, he completes this chapter by saying that through this, we can now understand, we see the power is visible by the great and the small. Everyone can see this. And tomorrow he's going to continue by finishing off and saying how we come to a major love and fear of God because of this. So, my friends, I will leave you with that. That's the end of the chapter, and we will continue, God willing, very soon with the next chapter before Shabbat.